What's up everybody? So it's been about a week since my last video and you're probably wondering why I haven't posted. Or not. Either way, I had a pretty bad case of bronchitis for the last week or so and couldn't talk. And in that time I discovered that I also had eczema on the side of my head, which meant that I was gonna have to shave my head. But seeing as how I look like a serial killer while I'm completely bald, I decided instead to do this. Had to be done. So, picking up where we last left off, I watched Akame Ga Kill episode 6. The episode starts right where we left off in the last one, only it doesn't at all. See, in the last episode, Tatsumi was being led by an Imperial Guard to go help find Boobs, who had been lost somewhere in the city. Flash forward to this episode, and Tatsumi and Boobs apparently found each other because they're standing on a roof in the middle of the city overlooking what seems to be their next target. Boobs goes to explain that she really hates the next target and grew up in the slums because of course she did. Apparently every female in this did. But before we can get anything like backstory, because who needs that, they decide to jump to another roof where the targets really are. Inside they see a bunch of women pretty much passed out smoking what I have to assume is this world's version of opium, plus a bunch of guards and 2 men that I'm assuming are actual literal pimps. The men speak to each other, going on to explain that these women are essentially prostitutes who they pay with this drug. As that's happening, when the women starts kind of freaking out and I guess having a bad trip or a bad reaction to the opium, and one of the pimps goes and just starts kicking the living crap out of her. This incites a strong rage from Boobs, who then goes through a Sailor Moon transformation, because of course she does, and becomes a cat girl, because of course she does. With Tatsumi in tow, the two break into the building and have a good old bit of the ultra-violence. Extra points if you get what that reference is from. Anyways, they go in there, kill the 2 guards, kill the 2 pimps, and don't really release the women. Afterwards, the 2 walk home and Tatsumi actually asks Boobs about this amazingly, and she explains she knows a guy who's willing to help the girls, so I guess everything works out off camera as usual. Shoot on over to Shiel and mine in another area of the city and we find the same Imperial Guard who had helped Tatsumi stalking them. See, there's wanted posters of Shiel around the city, so she knows that Shiel's a member of the Night Raid. And she also knows that her trainer, the guy that Tatsumi had killed, was killed by the Night Raid, as was her father. So this calm and cute girl suddenly flips her shit and decides to attack. Shiel and mine hold off pretty well until the girl summons her little dog thing that was in the last episode, and it turns into a big dog thing and attacks mine while she tries to handle Shiel. It's a pretty heated battle and things are going about as normal as this show can be until Shiel cuts off the girl's arms with her giant scissors. Blood sprays everywhere, which makes no sense because this girl doesn't have real arms, she has machine guns. The girl lets her in on the fact that this is her secret weapon and begins shooting with her arm guns. Shield blocks most of the bullets with her blade and continues fighting, and then we shoot back over to mine. She's using her sniper rifle to try to blow holes into the big dog thing, but she's unable to because apparently these arms have like cores in them, I guess, that need to be destroyed, and she keeps on missing it because the dog's so big or something. Shoot back over to the Imperial Arms girl and she tells the dog to grow arms, and it does. So it starts trying to pummel mine into a thin paste, but she evades it and shoots and misses and blah 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 blah. The fight goes back and forth for a while until it looks like Shiel is about to kill the Imperial Arms girl. It's at this point that the girl reveals that she has one more trick up her sleeve and tells the dog to go into berserk mode. The dog hulks out, growing bigger, furrier, and browner for some reason, and begins to attack mine with extreme prejudice. Shiel sees this and goes in to help mine, cutting the dog in half and presumably killing it, causing it to land on mine and breaking her arm. But it's okay because the good guys won. Then Shiel gets shot through the chest with the gun that was in the Imperial Guard's mouth the whole time. Yep, there was a gun in her mouth the whole time. At this point you're starting to think, you know what, maybe she can come back from this, I'll probably heal her, you know, it's anime. But then the dog comes back to life and uses Shiel as a chew toy. Now it's at this point that Shiel starts recalling everything in her life before she dies. This goes through everything with her time in the Night Raid, from the good times to the assassinations and everything in between, none of which was shown on camera beforehand. And finally ends on her holding Tatsumi back when he was crying. Because of course the last thought on her mind isn't going to be about her friends or her family, it's going to be about the kid she met a week ago. Anyway, she dies and mine charges up her gun, shooting the dog thing and I guess disabling it. She starts stalking towards the Imperial Guard girl, only to be stopped when a bunch of soldiers run in to help. And then Shiel uses her scissors to do some big blast thing, yada yada, mine gets away. Back at the Night Raid, she informs everyone what went on, and Tatsumi starts freaking the hell out. He's talking about vengeance, a blood feud, the whole 9. Let's go out there, let's get revenge. And just then Bullet lays 5 across the face and tells him to shut the fuck up. He explains that anybody can die at any moment and you can't get worked up like this because you're probably going to be the next one if you do. It takes a while for it to sink in, but Tatsumi finally understands the point that you can't get all worked up and go into battle because that's how people die. So after a few tears, his of course, we shoot over to the end scene and find out that the general girl, the one at the end who had taken out the North, is now in the main city looking for the Night Raid. So now time for my thoughts on this episode.
God, why? God, there's a gun in her mouth! There's a gun in her mouth!
Okay, this show seems to have set up its own kind of very specific rules. It started off kind of wacky in the first episode, like a generic kind of shonen anime. Then it went really, really dark, and we saw that there are rules and that people will die. It was really dark and gritty and kind of realistic, or at least as realistic as this kind of anime gets to be. And then we get to this fight where a girl's arms get chopped off, revealing machine guns, and she has another gun in her mouth, and a dog hulks out, and it has rows of teeth, and it grows arms because it was told to. Oh my god. You know, I had hope for this show until now. I mean, the last episode really did give us some development. It gave us somewhere to go, and it almost made us care, and then made the character that we care about die in the next episode, which is just one of the cheapest forms of writing. I mean, Knights of Sidonia did the same thing, and I didn't care with that either. I mean, yeah, I probably cared more about S.H.I.E.L.D. than the other characters because of what they did in the last episode, but I still really didn't care about her, you know? So when she died, I just kinda saw it coming, and it affected me in no way. Plus, the fight scenes went all crazy Kill La Kill style, and that just doesn't fit the style of this anime, or at least the style they were trying to portray up until this point. They just threw like a monkey wrench into it just to see how we would react, I guess. And it seemed like they were trying to pull too many crazy things from other animes like Kill La Kill, wherein those crazy things worked because of the world they set up around it. See, that's the problem. They set up a very specific world and then tried to flip the script on us, and it didn't work. This episode, man, I can see why people stop watching it now. I really can. I mean, I've said before, some episodes were 7, some were 3s. This was like a negative 30. Is that possible? Can I go negative 30 on this? You know what? It doesn't deserve a number. This was black licorice. That's what this was. This was black licorice. I don't like black licorice. Anyways, I mean, I don't even know how to formulate thoughts right now except to say that bad anime did bad. But maybe that'll change in the next episode. Who knows? I don't care anymore. This was a monstrosity. They done goofed. Anyways, let me know what your guys' thoughts were on episode 6 in the comments below, and I'll get started on episode 7. Peace, guys.